Yes, as you should be. Let me set this up. Hold on. Okay, let me know on YouTube because I'm streaming on my Hope is Speaking YouTube so you can hear me. Could you hear me before? Can you hear me now? You'll catch up. You'll catch up. You can watch the replay, but let me know, Terrence, if you can hear me on YouTube because everybody else, hi, wait a damn minute. Yes, Lady T. Okay, so not before, but now, yes. Great. So we have perfect lighting and sound on TikTok. We have perfect lighting and sound on YouTube because I'm streaming as I typically do on both. Hope is Speaking YouTube, Hope is Speaking TikTok. Let's go. What I did not tell you is the hotel I stayed at the first night, because again, we got to the hotel at about 10. And that's when I'll have the clean basic accommodations that are close to the airport. But this hotel was converted into a hotel, but prior it was a hospital. And I left that out. And I left that out to my niece because I could be sensitive when there's been people in a place and it was set up like a hospital. I started calling it the insane asylum because it was set up as such. But it was a comfortable hotel, great water pressure, great shower, great bed, clean next to the airport. We stayed there the first night. Then the second day, we moved into our, exactly, yes, and this is in Tahiti. So it has great reviews on like Google. It is great for one night. I would not stay there longer than the like 12 hours I was there, right? I'm saying that. And while I was there, I had actually secured a residence in Morea, which you take a ferry from Papiete to Morea, or you can take a flight to Bora Bora. But there's these beautiful islands. And so I found this beautiful residence, and it had everything I asked for, because anytime I travel with people, we're not going to be bumping booties. We do not sleep in the same bed. There is a door, there is separate rooms, there's separate bathrooms. Like, we are real distinguished travelers. Some of y'all scallywags like to cuddle up with your friends. No, I'm grown and sexy. There is no sharing unless you're my partner or sexy companion. But outside of that, there's no sharing a bed. So I secured this great residence. It was so great. I was like, how is this available? Now I'm thinking this was kind of like a scam, because within an hour, that's when the owners of the residence said, hey, it's already been secured. Thank you for canceling. Now, I think they did that because if I cancel, then I'm held accountable. But I'm a master traveler, because if I were to cancel, the cancellation fee would have been $90 out of the 140, 150 that I was going to pay that evening, which heck to the no. No. So I was trying to cancel. They said, well, cancellation fee will be $90. No, it's not. I'm not going to pay that. I emailed the owners of the residence. I emailed the platform I booked in. I tried to call the owners of the residence. I tried to call the platform that I secured it through. I was going through all of these actions. And for me, I will do all of that because one will work. And what worked was me going through every single day of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, until I got to a day where there was no booking. So I moved my reservation from that day to a day in July and then canceled that reservation to get away from having to pay my $90. And I tell you that because sometimes you have to MacGyver the situation. Sometimes you got to MacGyver. Hey, what's up? I see going in hot. Safety off on YouTube. As I said, I'm streaming on both. So Moved the reservation to July, canceled it because you're not getting my $90. Then we left that Airbnb and we checked into another Airbnb, which was in the city center. And that's where the story is picked up now. And I also shared how me and my niece were uh, invited into a wine bar for someone's private birthday party. And then, which is a part of traveling, she didn't understand the exchange rate. So she ordered what she thought was a $15 glass of champagne, which was actually a $150 bottle of champagne, which is reasonable. However, I don't drink and she doesn't drink that much. So we laughed about it. We came back to the hotel, our Airbnb. So the next day, we set out to, we were actually, I was going back and forth with should we leave from the island or should we stay another day? Because here's the other thing. For the most of the, how do you get your teeth so white? They just are naturally white. And I take impeccably great care of my teeth with a Sonicare toothbrush, with flossing, with not drinking like soda or dark colored things. So there. Okay. So for the first week, everything is closed, meaning that first week of January, all of the shops are closed. So it was basically a ghost town. The thought is in most of these countries, not the US, because the US wants you to get back to work as soon as possible. We are closed for inventory. Thank you. We are closed for inventory. We are closed because people are with their families. Just know we are closed. So you want to go to a restaurant, you ain't going to too many restaurants because they're closed. You want to go shopping, you don't have too many offerings because places are closed. And it wasn't until maybe the 6th, I think, that things began to open. So we were kind of hanging back. And one of those days, which was a Sunday, everything is closed. Now in the US, what's up, handsome? I see you in the live. In the US, everything's open unless you're in the South. Things are closed or things. Yes, it's very 80-ish, isn't it? I feel like Bob Barker on The Price is Right, which I used to love. Da, 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 da. You get me stuck on these things. Here's the other thing. I used to love, I think I talked about this. I loved and still love infomercials. So all of the kids of the 90s, meaning born in the 80s. Some of you kids are like, I'm a kid of the 90s. You were born in 99. It doesn't count. What I mean is, if you were a child of the 90s, your childhood was from 90 to 99. This does not count if you were born in 98. You don't count. You aren't one of us. Okay. However, I used to get up early on those Saturday mornings and exactly and watch infomercials like Ron Popeil. You don't count. You were born in 98. You were 2 in 2000. You don't count just because in 1998, what was I, 15? So my connection to music or movies or TV shows is different from you that was born in 98. And it's not anything, you're not less than, you just didn't have that experience. You don't count in this situation because I got the mic and that's why I'm telling you. You count because you were born then, but in 1998, you can't tell me the songs you loved. You were an infant in a crib. It ain't the same, baby. And I know you want to be a part of it, but you ain't. And it's okay because it doesn't. Here's the other thing, and I say this all the time, none of it matters. Like, even what I'm saying means nothing. That's my ultimate thing. None of it matters. I moved up. Having the mic, yes. I started the live off with this is from my purple ticket. Like I was hustling that purple ticket. Let me tell you, a lot of my I don't celebrate these holidays, but I will take the gift and I always share that. I don't actively set time aside to celebrate any of these holidays. However, if you give me a gift, I will receive it. I will take it with happiness and with a smile. And during the purple tickets, I hustled and got a live sound card. Now, I was intentional. I was intentional with my purple ticket with TikTok. So I knew, okay, I'm going to work this purple ticket because I want new lighting, I want a new microphone, I want a new live sound card, like all of that, not a peel off lip liner. Hair thicker, is my hair thicker or what because I did use a new shampoo. I've just been using new everything. It's new everything. I don't want whatever I was using. It's done. It's finished. It's all new. So thank you. But yes, thank you. I have this and I have this. I think this is so great. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I hope you can hear that. So I would watch the infomercials. I love them. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes. I went specifically handsome. Now we're going on. The volume is kind of low. Well, maybe it's your volume is kind of low. It can't be me. It must be you. Is everyone else? Can you hear me? Or do I need to? I don't know. We're working through the kinks. At this time, I am the lighting and sound person before they're here. So, yes, it's you. Can you hear me though? If you can hear me, then that's what matters. So, I loved watching the infomercials on Saturday. I would get up early and watch Ron Popeil with the rotisserie chicken or the food dehydrator or people, and I loved infomercials. I love infomercials. I love them. And that's what I was talking about 90s kids, not born in 1998. You were an infant. You would have had to been between 5 to 15 during the years 1990 to 1999. If you were not, this does not apply to you. And I understand people want to say, I'm a kid of the 90s. No, you were an infant. You were born into the 90s, but you were an infant. And it's okay. None of it matters. And I was saying all of that because I loved the sales tactics and I loved those TV shows like Supermarket Sweep. I was obsessed with Supermarket Sweep. Supermarket Sweep, where the person would push the cart and load up on the turkeys because they were worth so much, and then you run and you get the big milk container, like Supermarket Sweep, all of these things that we know. You don't really know that maybe it was around if you were born in 98. I don't know. I wasn't born in 98. I was born in the 80s. Exactly. You would know about that. This is just a time specific frame. So anyone who was older than two during 1990 to 1999. I love Supermarket Sweep, and I just like supermarkets when I travel. So, yes, the inflatable items, of course, handsome. So, while I was in Tahiti, most of Europe, Sundays, everything's closed. In the US, we're unaware of that because everything is about buy, 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 spend your money, just work and buy. But in most of my my mom is laughing at me. What? It's so funny. Yeah, that's my mom. She always buys. She shops all the time. And here's another story. I saw a neighbor and they just shop, which is great, which is great. But I can shop when I know what I want. I bet my mom is beautiful. She's a looker. She sure is. Um, I know what I want to get. So when I went to buy some shampoo and hair stuff, I go in, I get shampoo, I get a conditioner, and I get out. I don't want to just look at things. I don't care about them. I know what I want. But I saw the neighbor and she said, "Oh, I'm just shopping." You shop every day. Like, what else do you need to buy? Am I moving over to Redbook? No. No, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not. Let me talk about that quickly with the whole thing with this app. I will be on these same apps, meaning this app, I will be on YouTube. I have a Patreon. You can go to my link in bio. I'm not jumping on something as a replacement. That's like toxic. That's like I'm breaking up with someone to get with someone else. No, I'm not. I don't know what the outcome for this app will be, but I'm not jumping anywhere. I was always going live on YouTube as well, and that's what I will be doing. I'm not jumping to any app. I'm not. I'm not. Like, no. So there's that. So back to the story. Sunday, everything's closed. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. I mean a convenience store. The pharmacies are open, but even the major supermarket, the one that is big, like if you're in the South, it would be the Piggly Wigglies. If you were in, does anyone know how to see the filtered comments when you're on live? Because there's a way to see it, but I don't know how. And I've seen that people have done it. Anyway, everything is closed. Now, my niece is hot to trot. She's 24, so she's like, I want to be out. Here's the other thing. I live on an island. It's island time. And on Sunday, outside of church, you're with your family and you're having a big meal. People aren't in the streets. People aren't trying to hang out. They're with their family, enjoying their day off. And I mention that because Sundays, when you travel, are observed as a huge rest day. Their stores will not be open. And in Tahiti specifically, most of the stores were closed. So the stores were closed except for this cafe, which I saw this queue outside, and I went in and I said, "C'est bon restaurant, eh?" And they're like, huh? And I'm like, c'est bon restaurant parce que beaucoup les gens autre restaurant. Like, I'm always trying to practice my French. Like, this must be a great restaurant because there's a lot of people outside waiting. And the lady's like, "Oh yes, it's the best. It's the best." And that's how you also know where to go. Where all of the locals are lined up outside, that's where you go. Don't go, and I will tell you this because McDonald's will taste different wherever you are in the world, but try like something local. Try something local. There's probably going to be a McDonald's somewhere close, but try something local. How about that? So I found this place. I bought, it was almost like a savory patty with ahi tuna, which is local to the area and delicious and savory, as well as a savory donut made from coconut milk and cassava, and it's slightly sweetened. And I know about everything. Don't be shocked, Yogi. I know about everything. Everything. Why would I know about? It's called Piggly Wigglies. That tells you everything you need to know. It must be in the South because the South only has weird things like this. But I know that, and I pride myself at knowing that because I know the major supermarket chains in every region of the US. So whether it's the South, whether it's the Northeast, whether it is the Midwest or West Coast. There is, yeah, I think it's very cool because this was in Tahiti, French Polynesia. And I've been everywhere. I don't really stress that so much anymore because I'm to the realization it's very hard to understand. Just being a flight attendant in itself. But even prior to flying, I had seen all but maybe 3 to 6 of the United States. So I'd already seen like 43 or 47 of the states or been to them with my family. So I go and get these breakfast treats for me and my niece because she's passed out at the Airbnb. And I was looking for water. Now I'm sharing this because nothing was open. Nothing, no corner stores. When they mean we are chilling, it is Sunday, ain't nothing open. Nothing. I had to go to a pharmacy to buy bottles of water because my niece had had some drinks the day before and I was thirsty. So I bought those. I walked around. Oh, someone tried me, which I don't often get. And I walk very confidently. I walk with power. I walk in direction. I know where I'm going. I am never scared. I am bone crusher. I am hope crusher. No, I am hope not crusher. But like bone crusher, I ain't never scared. What's up, Yasmin? I ain't never scared. So as I walk with power. I walk with direction. I walk knowing where I'm going. And there was this gentleman, this local Polynesian gentleman. What's up, bless CM? And he was shorter than me, tiny guy. He might have been 5'4". And he had said something in French, and I was like, no, leave me alone. Like at this point, I'm like, no, bye. And I saw him looking at me. I had a crossbody purse on, and he didn't lunge, but he tried to make his way to my direction. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I am the right person. Try Christmas. I've already done. I don't do. Here's the other thing. There's too there's too many Americans in Ghana. I used to go for years. I would go to Senegal for my birthday or even for New Year's or other West African countries, but I've already done all of that. Ghana, which is great. The Gold Coast. It is fantastic. I know. I've been doing this for years. I don't want to be where Americans are, and I've already done it. And I will get on my soapbox and say that I don't need I mean, I started going to West Africa years ago, maybe 2008, 2009. So there's nothing for me to try. I've kind of already done it. And once like it's on the tip of Americans' tongues, I don't want to do that. If they're at the Polo Club or the Polo Lounge in Accra, I don't want to be there with them. I am often trying to stay away from where they are, but they aren't where I am. And yes, I have an American passport. It allows me to travel everywhere, but I know about all of that. I am the cool person that goes places, and then the masses follow. But no. Um, so there's that. So everything was closed. I get a bottle of water. I get the coconut donuts and this ahi tuna savory patty. This man comes towards me. He doesn't lunge towards me, but he kind of makes his way towards me. And I was looking at him like, boy, you picked the right person because not only am I strong like bull, I'm fast. I am a marathon runner. Like, you will regret doing that because I will not mop you up, but I will bend you into a pretzel. And here's the other thing, you won't even be able to catch me. So I looked at the guy like, you gotta be kidding me. This ain't I am the one for you to try this. You are like 5'3". You appeared to be 20 years my senior. This ain't looking good for you, dude. So after that interaction, I got to the Airbnb and gave my niece the breakfast and the bottle of water. And I said, this is kind of a chill day because we She came with me when I gave my TED talk in Germany, but outside of that, she hasn't had that much interaction with Europe. Even when I lived in London, she was very young, so she never came to visit me there. So when I tell her everything is closed, she doesn't get it. And most people won't, because if you're living in the US, you do not understand that countries observe what they call their rest days or their weekends. So when I say Sunday, everything is closed, everything is closed. Everything is closed. But she didn't believe me. And I like people to find out. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to say, well, if you go out, no one's going to be out. I want you to figure it out because you obviously aren't figuring it out. So I'm going to walk around all day with you for you to get frustrated and realize everything is closed because everything was closed. So we ate. We showered up. She wanted to go get something to eat. And I told her, everything's closed. You don't get it. You don't believe it. But I'll walk around with you all day in the hot sun because this Polynesian sun is hot. Because if you don't believe me, it's time for you to learn. So we start walking because we hadn't rented a car. I had planned to rent a car that day. But again, it was Sunday. So everything was closed. Everything. So on Sunday, we began walking, and I said, let's walk in this direction. Nothing was open. Let's walk in this direction. Nothing was open. Let's walk towards the big grocery store because it should be open. It was closed. Everything is closed. So we walked a good amount of the afternoon, and nothing was open. By that time, and I don't mind walking, but I'm tired. I had stayed up the night before. Hi, cool Aaron. And so I said, hey, I'll call a cab to take us back. I'll ask the cab driver if there's a grocery store. So cab driver picks us up. Again, we're in Tahiti. And I ask, hey, is there a grocery store open? He said, I think so. I said, okay, if you think so, I trust you. Take me to the grocery store. I'm doing excellent. I'm fabulous. I am moisturized and I love myself deeply. That's how I'm doing. So we ended up going to a grocery store, which was open, and I was so happy because I love to buy the prepared foods, especially in French territories, because Tahiti is a French territory. Therefore, the food is good. I always get my baguette. The bread is great, the butter is great, the poisson is great, the prepared foods are delicious. Unlike here in the US, the prepared foods are always delicious. And we got there, here's the other thing. We got there at the right time because, you know, if you go and get, let's say, a rotisserie chicken and they put them out at a certain time, in a French territory, they are stringent about their food. So if they put the rotisserie chickens out at 10, and I'm giving arbitrary numbers, within 5 hours, they have to go mark it down because the belief is it's been sitting out and it's not as fresh. So we are going to mark it down because the flavor quality has lessened. Whereas here, maybe at the last hour of the day, they will mark the prepared foods down, not in a French territory. So I said, we're going to have a feast because we've been walking around. Let's get some prepared rice. I had bought some prepared broccoli and carrots. My niece had bought some roasted, beautiful sweet potatoes. She had a chicken dish with rice, and we bought a baguette and bread and poisson cru, which is the local dish of Polynesia, of Tahiti, which is the fresh ahi cooked with lime juice and fresh coconut milk. And I like it also prepared with ginger and coriander and carrots. And then we also had some other type of raw type of fish, like ceviche type fish. So we had bought a few of these things to have a whole feast, including my chocolate with hazelnuts, because American chocolate is terrible, but French chocolate, Swiss chocolate, German chocolate, there's a quality about the chocolate that is just, c'est si bon. It's amazing. And we had also bought some desserts. But I saw the woman come from the back to mark down all the prepared food. So what did I do? I went and put all my prepared food right back onto the hot dish. I put that sweet potato back, I put the rice back, I put the broccoli back, because she was going and scanning it and marking it down half price. So if it was 8, equivalent to 8 US, then she was marking it down to 4. I said, hey, go put your prepared food back because she's gonna mark it down. Go, set it down because she was gonna mark it down. And I was standing right there as she was marking everything down. She caught me slipping though, real quick, because there was only 2 broccoli and carrots, and they were steamed broccoli and carrots. And I put it down, and my niece was talking to me. Now, a lot of other people had my thought of everything is getting marked down. Let's hover while this woman scans and then puts the new price tag. So I'm talking to my niece. Oh boy comes and takes the broccoli and carrots. I'm like, all right, niece, I'm not talking to you because the broccoli and carrots that I was waiting to get marked down, oh boy just got me for them. So I need to concentrate. Okay, I need to concentrate. She marked the broccoli and carrots down. I'm over here talking to you. Somebody else just walked up and got the marked down broccoli and carrots. So I can't talk to you. I need to make sure I get my broccoli and carrots that are half off, as well as all the other food. Okay, we are hungry. I've been walking. I cannot wait to eat my baguette traditionnelle avec beurre or beurre de sel, which is the best butter. It is this French butter with chunks of sea salt. And I can't be talking to you. So Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. How? Okay. So finally, she marks down the carrots and broccoli, and I was like, yoink, gotta get it, gotta get it. Because oh boy is looking at these broccoli and carrots. He already got me for one. And when I say oh boy, it was just one random guy that was doing everything that we were doing. So we ended up getting all of our prepared food half off, and she went and got some fresh, like I think maracuya juice or like passion fruit juice, because she had the champagne from the night before. Now, anyone who's new to the chat, I was in French Polynesia with my niece who misread the conversion rate. So she thought she was ordering a $15 glass of champagne. She actually ordered a $150 bottle of champagne, which we laugh, it happens, but it only needs to happen once. So from there, I'm actually recording this whole time that I am in the grocery store. Like, look, everyone, on my iPhone, like just taking content, just recording from the prepared foods to the cereal aisle, which I love, the candy aisle, all of that in this grocery store on a Sunday in Tahiti. We pay for our things and then we head back to our Airbnb. Also, it just was a nice experience. It's just a better experience in the grocery store. So we head back to our Airbnb and we had a beautiful kitchen table. We heated up all the food and we just enjoyed our prepared food. And I say this because Sunday was our rest day. And I always incorporate a rest day when I travel, which most people don't. And my dad taught me that, because you can become overwhelmed. Travel in itself is already tiring. You have no idea how much change your body is going through just being on the airplane, from the pressure to the time zone to the interactions with all these people to all of that. Your body's going through a lot of change, let alone you hit the ground running and the belief is, I got to do this, I got to see this, I want to buy this. It can become overwhelming. So I always build in an off day, and that off day was this Sunday. So I rested, took a shower, put on a mask, chilled. I'm not doing nothing, okay? Because Monday is our big day. Monday, I was like, listen, Monday, I'm going to pick up a car. I'm going to rent a car because the rental cars are quite inexpensive. It was equal to like, you could get a rental car from between $22 to $29 a day. Now, let me explain. Me being a master traveler, and my dad was like a warrior where he traveled for his profession. He would also rent cars and travel if he had to meet at the head office outside of the town that we lived in. So I learned about a lot of tips with rental cars. And the first one is um, you're typically never going to use all of the gas. You typically won't. And especially on an island. Again, I'm in Tahiti. It is a small island. I live in Hawaii, so I know how small an island can be. And Maui in itself is a quite large island compared to Tahiti. And I'm sharing that because as I was booking the car, there was the difference of automatic versus manual. Now, most cars outside of the US are manual transmission, which I was prepared to drive. I haven't driven a manual transmission in like 20 years, but I can do anything. I was prepared to drive it. I was prepared to drive a manual. And so when I went in to rent the car, let's say it was $30 a day. So they had, you can rent it for $30 a day and then pay the equivalent of 45 cents per kilometer. Or you can rent the car for $89 a day all in. So that includes unlimited mileage as well as the insurance. And I was like, that is a scam because there's no way. Wait a minute. I'm on a small island. I actually went into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT to build me an itinerary for the next day. So ChatGPT built my itinerary to leave our Airbnb, go by the grocery store, grab some snacks, stop at a beach, a black sand beach, spend an hour there, then continue on to this blowhole where it's volcanic rock. And when the ocean water rushes in, it pushes the air in between the rocks. And it's almost like a blowhole, like a whale's blowhole at the top of their body. And it's like, so the itinerary was to go to this beach, to go to the blowhole, to take this 5-minute hike to these waterfalls because I love waterfalls, and then to finish at a final beach and watch the sunset at the final beach. I also had ChatGPT calculate, thank you for continuing to like the live, my total mileage in kilometers round trip with extra built in. And I did that because when ChatGPT did that, they clocked my mileage, let's say at like, I don't know, 76 kilometers, which would have been an additional, I don't know, $30 or $40. So it still would have been less than that $89 all in because I'm only renting the car for a day. So why would I pay 80, let's round up, $90 all in unlimited mileage when I know with my mileage, it's going to be the base rate of $30 with additional, let's say $30 more dollars with the mileage, it would be a total of $60. There's no need for me to purchase the all in for 90. And I know that. And I learned these things from my father, especially gas. You're not going to use all the gas. You may use a quarter of it, maybe. And this is on an island. So I told my niece, yes, Monday morning, I'm up early. I'm going to pick up the car, get yourself together because we have this wonderful itinerary that I had ChatGPT build for us. And we're just going to have this wonderful day. And then maybe we'll go to Moorea. But this is what we're going to do in Tahiti today with the car. She was like, great. So I walk to the car rental place. Now, again, I'm aware of the hustle. The hustle really at the car rental agency is a package deal and or their insurance coverage. And I had already bought insurance coverage for the equivalent of 13 US dollars that covered a total of $75,000. If anything happened, total of the car, any theft, anything. I had bought that online. And I'm sharing that with you because also often people just get all these extras like, oh, I saved the money. I only paid 30 bucks for this insurance. No, you just you fell into the hole. Yeah. So I knew all of that. I had already purchased, I think from like Priceline or something, an insurance plan for $13. And I had secured the manual transmission. Now, I hadn't driven it in 20 years, but I know I can. So I was like, I'm just going to get the cute manual. I walk over and I go into the rental car agency and I start filling out everything. And the woman helping me says, okay, so manual or automatic? I said, well, I selected a manual transmission. But do you have an automatic? She said, we do, but it's a $15 difference. So it would be $15 more. I said, okay, I'll stick with the manual. I'll stick with everything I have. She said, okay. She said, would you like this coverage? Because I can give you 2 days because I was going to the airport the next day. So I can give you today and tomorrow, 2 days, all in 180 US. And I was thinking, no, I'm going to decline that package because 180, I'm already going to spend maximum $60. So I'm going to drive even less the next day because I'm really just going to go to the grocery store and the airport. So why would I spend $180 if I'm really only going to spend 2 days with everything, maybe $100? Well, you get the insurance. I already have the insurance. Okay, well, just so you know, if you get in a wreck, you have to cover the total cost of the car. I know that. I have it all on my phone through my outside coverage. Okay. So do you not want this package? I don't want that package. Keep your package. I already have it sorted out. I know what I'm doing. I'm a pro at this. So I secure my car for roughly like $29 a day. Or $28 a day. The base I had to pay was $58. That was for the car for 2 days. And I just had to pay the mileage. I already had the insurance from an outside source. So again, this is an island. So someone had to actually go fetch the car from the airport, which wasn't far. And as she returned, I heard her say in French, oh, you're here with Hope's car? She said, yes. She said, but we didn't have any manuals. All we had was automatics, but we're just going to charge her the same. And I was like, see, everything works out. Everything works out. Everything works out. I did want an automatic, but I was prepared. In fact, in the rental office, I had Googled like, how to drive manual transmission because the last time I drove it was really like 20 years ago, but I can do anything. But the universe loves me, so it blessed me with a manual transmission car for the same price, which I just love. I just absolutely love. So I hop in the car and I'm so excited because it's a tiny, what was it? I think it was I have no idea. It was a foreign car. I don't like American cars anyway. And I drive the car to my Airbnb. I park, I go up, I get my niece, I shower, we park, we pack our beach bags, we pack hiking shoes, we pack sarongs, we pack workout clothes to change into, we pack swimsuits, we bring water, she brings her champagne in a bottle, we bring snacks, we get prepared because our thought is We have the car for the day. We are going to see the entire island of Papiete, and we're not going to return till later in the day. In fact, we're going to see the sunset as we're returning. So we're so excited. We're so excited. Now, let me also add, at this time, I wasn't really coming on to the app because I'm present when I'm traveling, but I have two phones with me. I have my working iPhone and I have a burner phone. I have one of my other phones that sometimes I'll take pictures or videos with, but it is not activated. It's Wi-Fi, it's a burner phone. Like I can use it in Wi-Fi, and I also have my own personal iPhone. So I have two iPhones on me, and my niece has her iPhone. And since she does not have signal, and I always have signal, I always have my hotspot on. So she's always connected and she's able to go on this app or WhatsApp or iMessage because she is hooked on to my personal hotspot. That's important to know. We have 3 iPhones between us. So we take off and we are using Google Maps. Now, I've shared Google Maps or any of these apps don't always work outside of the country as well as they work in the US. Because for the maps to be detailed means someone has to physically drive these roads. I remember in Costa Rica, I almost drove into a ravine. Like really, I had to hit the brakes because we were in the mountains and my niece was like, oh, this is a shortcut, take this turn. And I turned and I'm turning and I'm turning and I can't see what's on the other side until I turned enough and saw there was just a bunch of water. I don't know if it rained and the river washed out the road, but I share that because also often the belief is, oh, just use Google Maps. Oh, just use Waze. Oh, just use. It doesn't mean that it is as accurate where you are at. And then especially in places like yeah, Costa Rica, sometimes it was completely inaccurate. Uh Parts of South America, parts of like Brazil. When you travel, you will notice this, but if you don't travel, this won't mean anything to you. So, we're using Google Maps to go to our first beach on our itinerary that I had ChatGPT built for us. Now we're excited because I don't even know how many days we had been in Tahiti, but this is the first day with the car. And so we get out of the city center and drive like through the rainforest into the beach, and we're listening to Nerd, and we're listening to all this positive music, and I'm drinking my water. I also have my tea because I always have my tea, and I'm just so excited because I'm going to see this first beach, which was a black sand beach outside of Papiete in Tahiti. And here's the other thing. This is only a 15-minute drive from the city center, from the Airbnb in which we were staying in. This isn't like an hour drive. This is also why I told the lady, like, I'm not taking your little package. I'm MacGyver. I'm a real Voyager. Go sell that to one of the other minions that don't know. But I know. I know. I don't need that. So we're on the road and we're so excited. We have our coconut oil and our sunscreen and our curls are popping. We're so excited. We're driving and we have beautiful little sprinklings of that island rainfall that sprinkles for like 10 minutes and then it goes away and then it comes back. It's lovely. So as we're driving, I see the most beautiful cathedrals with like pastel pinks, almost like an Easter pink. And we make our way to the first beach, which is Point Venus, like Point Venus. You can Google it, Point Venus Beach in Tahiti. It is a black sand beach and it is absolutely beautiful. And the beaches in Tahiti, It's not like Hawaii where like Maui, you can just hop into a beach at any time. A lot of these places, there's a lot of coral or volcanic rock, so you just can't hop in. You may have to take a kayak out and swim or a boat out and swim. And there are these pristine, clear, baby blue, sparkling water lagoons. It's stunning. And you see all the bright colored fish, and you see the coral, and you will see stingrays. It's beautiful. So we arrive at Point Venus, and I'm just in workout clothes, and I say, let's just take a walk around and see. And the rain had stopped, so the sun was out, and it is stunning. It is beautiful, and the sun is out. It's getting hot, and there is a food truck that has fresh ahi burgers that they catch right there. And all the food is well made because it's the French territory. So the food is made to a high standard. And so we go around and we're just so quiet and looking at the lagoon and looking at the bright colored fish and looking at the coral reef. And I'm looking at my niece because I remember, here's the other thing. Tahiti was the last trip that I flew as a flight attendant. So I was a flight attendant for 15 years. I already knew I wanted to leave. I did not know Tahiti would be my last trip, but I flew a 5-day Tahiti, which was like a vacation in itself, meaning you fly there one day, you lay over for 4 days, 3 days, you leave the fourth day. You're there for an entire week. And the reason why I was able to pick up this trip is because this was the mumblings of COVID. So this was like April-ish. And I remember there was just starting to be a murmur of what we now know would be the pandemic. But in aviation, it was more than a murmur because it was affecting aviation. So much so that every day a different country would report to the airlines and say, hey, if you are a flight attendant and you have flown to India, mainland China, Israel, you cannot enter into Australia, or you cannot enter into Tahiti, or you cannot enter into Italy. And I'm sharing this because I had 15 years seniority, which is something, but I flew with a lady who had over 60 years, 60 flying. And most of these people with all of that seniority had gone to these countries. They had gone to these countries where people, countries were saying, hey, if you've entered mainland China, you cannot come to Japan. You can't come to Tahiti. You can't. So these senior people were not allowed to fly these trips. So what the airline will do is they will say, Hope, you went to Japan, but now since you've gone to Japan, you can no longer fly and enter Brazil. So we are going to pay you for your Japanese trip, for your Japan trip, and you can fly to San Francisco or you can fly to Boston. We are going to pay you the equivalent of what your trip originally was for, but you can only travel to the places where you are not restricted from. And because of that, a lot of these senior people had to drop. I know, isn't, oh, it just gets even better. No, it gets so much better. Because of that, all of these senior people had to get rid of their trips. So I had just so happened, because I was living in Maui, but I was based out of San Francisco. So a lot of flight attendants will live somewhere and then fly. Like, I never, Tahiti was the only trip that I flew out of San Francisco because I would drop all my trips, which meant any trip that I had in my SFO schedule as a flight attendant based at a SFO, I would give them to other flight attendants or give them back to the system, so I would be down to zero. And with my company, we had what is called out of base pickups. So you can be based in San Francisco, but pick up and work a trip out of New York. So I can clear my schedule out of San Francisco, commute, which means fly as a passenger to New York. And when there's open trips, which there's always trips available because people get sick or they put it on a board, which would be the same thing as like, do you want to switch my shift? And you can fly out of a different airport. So I would clear my schedule from San Francisco and pick up trips out of Honolulu. So, how you commute to work, I would commute from Maui to Honolulu, which was an 18-minute flight. And I would work my flights out of Honolulu. So I would go Honolulu to Denver, or Honolulu to New York, or Honolulu to Chicago, lay over 27 hours, work back to Honolulu, and then fly home to Maui. That was what I was doing. This time, I was actually here at my parents' house in Fresno. And I had came to see my parents, and I had just so happened to wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning to look to see what trips were available out of San Francisco. And I saw there was a Brisbane, there was a Sydney, there was a Auckland. Like there was a few places that I wanted to fly to that I hadn't, because I had already been based out of Newark, JFK, Washington, D.C., London, Heathrow, and now San Francisco. So I had basically been to all the places in the world I wanted to go to. Hundreds of times, but there was a few places like I hadn't gone to Auckland or the Cook Islands. There's a lot of places. What's up, Alex? In the South Pacific that I love. So I'm at my parents' house. It's 2 or 3 in the morning. I see all these trips. I'm like, oh, Auckland's gone. Sydney's gone. All these trips are gone because, again, this is the beginning of COVID. But we don't know it's COVID. But me being relatively junior, I'm like, I'm picking up these trips. I'm getting the getting while the getting is good, okay? And so I see this 5-day Tahiti where I was the most junior with 15 years. The person that was next to me, that was closest to me in seniority, had like 42 years seniority. So you have to see how senior people were for these trips. Rightfully so. It's a 5-day Tahiti. And we stay at a beautiful 5-star resort, and it's lovely. So I picked this trip up. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Okay, I've got the trip. It's in my line. It's 3 a.m. I'm in my hometown. I need to get to San Francisco. Okay, it's 3 a.m. I'm already packed. Let me hop in the shower. Okay, there's a 5 a.m. flight that will get me in. But that flight is full out of my hometown. And I'm like, to heck with it. I'm still going to try. I am still going to try. So I actually don't make that 5 a.m. flight, but there's like a 7:30 a.m. flight that gets me in after my check-in time for Tahiti, which I always roll the dice. But what I was thinking is I will land and I'll be in the airport. I'm a runner. I'm really fast. I'll just run to the gate. Like I'll just run. I know I'm supposed to check in at 8:30. I know it lands at 8:17. I know I'm on one completely different side of the airport, but I'm gonna make it do what it do. And I'm ready because I will make it work, and then I'll be in Tahiti for 5 days. And that's exactly what I did. And I remember the company calling me like, "Oh, are you here?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm right on my way." I was nowhere close. Like I was taxiing on the runway. This is why when I talk about being a flight attendant and I was a new hire buddy, I was the best one because I pushed it to the limit. I've been in every discipline situation. I never lied because if you lie, you can immediately get let go. I would just cut it real close. So I did run and I made it. And So that was my last trip on the line as a flight attendant. I worked to Tahiti, and it was cool. It was cool. But I lived in Maui, so it was like it doesn't look too much different from my home. And I remember when we landed, people were like, "Oh wow, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful." I'm like, but doesn't look too much different from Hawaii because it's still the South Pacific. So that was my last trip on the line as a flight attendant before I took the early retirement in 2020. Fast forward now, I had told my niece, like, we're going somewhere. I think we should go to Tahiti. Here's the thing, my niece didn't even calculate what that meant. She was like, yeah, okay, the island. She, Tahiti is not like, most people go to Simply Pretty. Absolute. Oh, yes, the island is. I don't know if you're talking about that. But Tahiti is like a honeymooner's destination. And typically on the flight, someone will propose, or someone, as we land and we're getting off, someone gets down on one knee and they propose, or they go there as a honeymoon. That's what it is. So while we're at this beach, it's all couples. It's all beautiful couples. It's all symbols of love, which I love. People holding hands and I miss you, baby. I'm so happy. Like it was all of that. On this beautiful beach, again, it's a black sand beach and it's set against green rolling lowland mountains. So not really high mountains, just really green. It almost looked like just bulbs of broccoli and this beautiful, pristine, sapphire blue, clear water. Thank you. And black sand because it's volcanic sand. And a well manicured beach, but not overly manicured like in the US. And there's beautiful places to eat just along the way. And you're hearing a lot of French because that's a native language, as well as like people who are visiting. So me and my niece are walking and looking, and she's just adoring the place. And I'm looking at her, remembering what that looks like, what that feels like to be in a place where you're like, this is amazing. Thank you for continuing to like the live. Because there's not many places where I feel that anymore. I've been to so many places so many times, not just once or twice, like hundreds of times, probably thousands for some, that I don't really have that feeling sometimes. So it's beautiful to witness her seeing these crystal blue lagoons and seeing the stingrays and these brightly colored yellow striped fish and her just being in awe. So we walked to the beach, which is a black sand beach, and we're looking at the waves, and I just was so happy. I was so happy because that prior year, 2024, I had shared on live that my father, who was 76, died, and it was quite a lesson for me to learn, and grieving that, and pulling myself out of spaces that grief brings you to, and growing into who I am now, and transitioning and still showing up to speak, and all of these things that just transpired in my life. I just felt so grateful that, wow, this is like almost that reward. I'm here. Thank you. And it wasn't a loss. There's so much I gained. So I appreciate that. However, I seek to shift that thought. I lost nothing. There's so much that I gained in the 40 years with my father, but even after. So I appreciate that. And I know it where it comes from. It's a beautiful space. However, I've gained so much since. So there's no loss. And thank you. So my beautiful butt is on the beach. What's up, Smart? And I'm just in the sun, and just tears of gratitude are flowing down my face. Just really tears of gratitude. And I'm in my workout clothes, and we're just walking in the surf and feeling the water on our feet and grounding in that salt water, and it's purifying, and like you see families. It was absolutely gorgeous. So we kind of walked around in the water. What's up, Emmanuel? And then we said, okay, yeah, let's go back to the car. Let's change into our bikinis. Let's let these cheeks out. Let's oil up these cheeks. Thank you. Because I got to tan up the cheeks, baby. Okay. I love a tan line. I love my hot little body being nice and golden. This is what it's for. Yes. This is what it's for. Okay. I let these tears flow. It's time to let the sun kiss my body. So we go to the car. I change out of my workout clothes. I put on my bikini that I had bought in Bogota, Colombia, because I don't really buy swimwear in the US. They cover too much. I told my mom, I don't go to the beach to cover what you gave me. I go to the beach to show off what you gave me, okay? And she said, I only gave you my best. I said, I know you did. So put on a bikini, we put on our oil, and we put our sarongs in a reusable bag, a beach bag. I bring my two phones. She brings her phone in her reusable bag. She brings some water as well as her champagne in her wine container. And I bring like a stand for my phone and microphones, but no cash, no cards, anything like that. We close the car. We walk back to the beach. And as we're walking, I'm like, oh, this is so great. Let's get away from the people. Let's go towards there. Because actually, I was like, I'm going to dive in without anything. Thank you, Smart. I'm going to take off my bathing suit and just go swimming because I prefer it that way. But we need to get away from the people. So we go and we plant our stuff underneath this beautiful arched palm tree. And it was arched in the way that you could go and sit on it and just take a beautiful picture. I was like, this is where we're going to be. Yes, right here. Put our stuff there. And then I went live. I think that was the second and last live that I did from Tahiti. And I just had live that I was at the beach and I swam, and it was a quick live because then I said, I'm turning this off. I'm enjoying my time. And so I turned off, I went live, I turned that off, I put my phone into my beach bag, and I invite my niece. I say, let's go into the water. So we go into the water and it just feels amazing. Like, I love it. I'm looking at people surfing. I'm like, yo, I want to go surfing. No, I've done mostly West Africa, so I've yet to do any of East Africa. Thank you for liking the live. And I love being in the water. I've always had a pool at my childhood home. I love to swim. I played water polo. I will surf. I will paddleboard. I will, in Hawaii, I would do the traditional Hawaiian, like, boating. It's like kayaking kind of with a group of people. I love that. So we're just enjoying the water. Now, my niece also swims exceptionally. She was a lifeguard and a swim instructor. So we're strong swimmers, and we are just in that shallow water, just enjoying our time. And the sun is just beaming on our crowns, and the water stays shallow. You can go like 100 feet from the surf into the water, and it's still shallow. I like me too. Thank you, Smart. So as we're in the water, I'm like, oh, this feels amazing. And the salt water is on my skin and the magnesium, and I'm going to sleep so well. And the salt water just cleans out your armpits, your body. You don't smell. It's just amazing. I'm like, this is so, I am so happy. My heart is so full. Like, after the year, and really it was me just allowing grief, because all so often, especially a loss of a person we love or a parent, there's that, I don't want to feel grief. I don't want to feel sadness. I don't want to feel that pain, that loneliness. I want to feel it. I am a professional speaker. This is my art. I have to feel that to heal, but I have to feel that to be able to conceptualize and share it with others. Me too. Aren't they beautiful? Look at this beautiful manicure. You know, I love a red manicure. And this, although you will see me with red nails, it's always a different red. I just bought a different red today, so thank you. And hands are important, as well as a nice not chipped manicure, because a girl with a chipped red manicure is not a girl I want to know. So my heart is full. I'm in the ocean. I'm so happy. I have this release of tears. I'm just like, oh, this is great. This is amazing. This is really great. And this is really great that I have my niece here with me. Like, she's just here seeing the world with me. And where I was this time last year, I'm just having all of these like realizations and downloads and just releasing and feeling grateful that I'm here. Because I got it. When people are like, I am done. I'm out for the count. I don't want to be on this planet anymore. I got it. I got it, especially when my father died. I got when people would say, I don't want to do this anymore. So I was so filled with joy. And we enjoyed the water. And we always take long beach walks. So we came out of the water, and she might have checked her phone, or we took a picture. And I think we recorded a video on my phones, and we said, let's go for a walk. So we put our phones back into the beach bags, and we began to take a walk. So we take this beautiful walk on the beach, just far away from where our beach bags are. And I am just taking it all in. And the sun is just tanning my body. And then I start thinking, okay, I could live here. What about if I want to stay here for a month? And I thought, well, I would need like all new Apple supplies. Like I would need new phones. I would need a new MacBook Pro. I would need a new standalone Mac to do all of my editing. And so when I speak, like I would need probably about 10 grand of Apple product. Okay. And I think, all right, so I could do that. And I'm just thinking of these things as we're taking this long walk. And we're looking at the homes along the beach, and we're just walking, and we're present. And we take a walk, and then we start coming back towards our beach bags. And we took a walk. I mean, maybe 20 minutes, maybe longer. We just enjoyed ourselves. So as we're walking back, I said, well, we've had such a great walk. I've like connected to the universe. I've been grounding. I've been crying. My body is tanned. We've been seeing like happy dogs and just people just walking. And so as we're coming to our beach bags, my niece says, okay, let's just check the time or take a picture. So, Dead Poets Jams, you came right at the best part. Me and my niece are at the beach, a black sand, volcanic sand beach in Tahiti. And I'm feeling grateful for what I've grown through, what I've thrived through, and I'm feeling sexy and tan. No, you came right at the best part. Trust me. Just listen. Just listen. I'm feeling sexy and tan. I'm like, all right. I've cried tears of joy. And now we've walked and we've connected. And I love myself and I love the universe. I love my niece and I just love. So let's get our beach bags and let's continue on with the day. Because remember, I had a whole day scheduled. because I rented a car, Dead Poets Jams. This is the next day. I rented a car. We have a car. And the plan was to start the day at this black sand beach, which was only 15-minute drive from our Airbnb. And then after the black sand beach, the plan was to go to this blowhole at this other place, this other beach. And then after that, we were going to go to a waterfall that had 3 waterfalls. And then after that, we were going to finish off at a pristine white sand beach and watch the sunset over Morea. That was the day. But now we're at Point Venus Beach, and we've taken a beautiful walk on the black sand beach, and we've completed our walk. And so we come back to our beach bags, and we go to look in our beach bags, and the phones are gone. The phones are gone. The phones are gone. And the thing is, yes, the phones are gone. My 2 iPhones in my beach bag gone. The thing is, me and my niece are like so connected. I've reached in the bag like, no. Because you have to understand, we've had such an ethereal time that I can't even imagine. When something like this happens, I don't think it's happening. I don't even think it's happening. I'm like, nah, this is going to be happening. No, there's like no way. There's no way that our phones got stolen. So as I'm reaching in the bag, I'm like, I look at my niece, we look at each other at the same time, like, we got robbed. Like, we both look like, like all of the air from my lungs just came out of my body like, no, we got for 3. Like, I respect it because someone came up on 3 whole iPhones, but this can't be how, like, no. And my niece was like, the best part is that we both slowly looked at each other like, and I was like, day is canceled. Like, I immediately switched from, oh, I'm so grateful, to the day is canceled. That's all right. The day is canceled. You have your MacBook, you have your locate, find my iPhone, but the day is canceled. Ain't no blowhole, ain't no waterfall. I'm going to the police. My niece was like, you turned into the Americans so quick because you're like, we going to the police. We going to the police. No, absolutely not. No, day is canceled. Beach is canceled. Come on, let's go hop in the car. Skirt, we got a ride. We got a ride because the day is done. You gonna rob me? Are you insane? Are you insane? Who got me for 3 iPhones, man? And the craziest part is, remember I was saying, what would I need? What would I need? Oh, I would need about 10 grand of new Apple product. Now, I share that because sometimes there's things that we want in life, or maybe we ask God or the universe, like, this is what I want. You don't get to control how it comes to you. No, I'm not going to blow you a kiss. I don't want to. Don't tell me what to do. You don't get to control how you receive these things. So maybe this is like the universe saying, like, well, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted, right? No, not in this way. Not getting robbed. I ain't never been I have never had this happen. So I was like, ain't no way. We going to the police now. And I'm a French speaker. So here's the other thing. And I learned this from my father. Don't lose your head. And even in a situation like this, as we're going walking to the car, like we've just had this incredible time, only to be thrown off because our phones were stolen. But within minutes, we both began to laugh because it was like, because she said, Hope, you always say we don't have our story from this trip yet. We don't have the story from this trip. The story starts now. The story starts now because now we have no phones. Now, everything is in your phone. So every time, most of the time when I'm paying, I'm using tap to pay. I do have a card, but I've been using tap to pay, as well as my Airbnb. I've been securing them from my phones. I'm glad I had secured and closed everything out. Also getting there, we were using Google Maps. Now all of that is done, and I'm exceptional with landmarks, but now I just have to use my head because there is no phones, there is no Google Maps, there is no tap to pay, there is no email, there's none of that. Now you have to get back to your Airbnb with sheer brain power. And I share this when I say don't lose your head because I don't lose my head. I've traveled so much, but I also know the moment that you lose your head, you say this whole trip was a wrap, it was a waste, why'd this happen? Everything else goes in that direction. Yes, that happened, but I'm okay. I am safe. I wasn't harmed. It can be replaced. The phones can be replaced. Yeah, you lose your head, you lose. And here's the other thing. Um, what good does it do to say this is the worst thing that happened to me? I said this is a great story. This I was telling my niece this is when the story began. So I'm like, we're going to the police. Now, what I did not tell you was, ladies, and even the gentlemen who appreciate gentlemen, all of the servicemen, the policemen, the firemen, the ambulance men were the finest specimens of humans you could imagine. These men were so gorgeous. And you don't even hear me say that because I'm not always looking to see a gorgeous man. But all of the policemen in Tahiti were the most gorgeous men I've ever seen. So then again, me and my niece are like, okay, this is great. This is great. We get to go with all these beautiful, like, they are muscular, they are young, they have beautiful slick back coiffed hair, they are tan and they are beautiful, not like in the US with big bellies and eating donuts and these are agile, beautiful young men, okay? Beautiful. We were so excited. We were like, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the Airbnb. We are going to take showers and put on brand new clothes. We are going to do ourselves up. And then we are going to the police station because those men are scrumptiously beautiful in every way. You have no idea. So when I say this is when the story begins, this is really how it began. So we're in the car, which is really a straight shot back to the Airbnb. Gross. No, I'm not. Come to the Cyrus, that is whack. Don't come to my live saying come to ATL. That is whack. Listen to me. Listen to my story. I'm telling you a story about Tahiti. Why the hell would I come to ATL? And why the hell would I say, okay, because you came into my live and said, come to ATL? I am a top tier woman. That is not ever how you address a woman like me. So, no. So we get in the car and we start laughing because we're both like, all right, we're down 3 phones between us. And we're laughing because now the story starts. We're laughing because as I hit the road, like the slowest car gets in front of me, and I don't drive fast. I don't. I just drive the speed limit. But it was like the old lady, like, "Rrrr." It was like it was hilarious. And when I say don't lose your head, we didn't, because we were laughing at the slow cars. We were laughing at the excitement of sitting in this police station. We were laughing at, like, how the heck, like, I remember my niece saying, well, in Maui, we always leave our phones. I said, sure, but we're not in Maui. Maybe that's the lesson. Maybe you've just gotten a bit too comfortable, and I understand it. This could happen anywhere. And to be completely honest, that's the best case scenario. None of us were harmed. But I'm not home. I'm not in Maui. I'm not in Maui. And someone came up on 3 phones. That is a huge come up for somebody. Huge. And then the beauty of, like, this is all working out. I don't know how. I just start saying this out loud. I don't know how, and this is all working out. I don't know how this is working out, and it's all working in my favor. So, again, it's really a direct shot back to our Airbnb from the beach that we're at. But I'm already like, all right, um, we'll go to the police station. I'm a French speaker. I will tell them what happened. Um, you have your computer. You can locate your phone. Like, I'm thinking of all these things. And getting from the beach back to the city center was very easy because it was a straight shot. Finding our Airbnb in the city was a little bit different. What's up, Sam? And I knew how to get to. Here's the other thing. I kept thinking, well, why didn't I rent a car before, like right when I landed? Then I saw we walked the entire downtown area, the entire city of Papeete. So by the time I rented the car, I actually knew everywhere to go. So it was a great thing that I didn't rent a car initially when we landed, because we were on foot those first few days. I'll update you with that, Eurus. And it was that realization of everything happens as it should. Also, often we say, I should have done this. If I would have known, I would have done that. No, it happened perfectly. That time walking in circles on Sunday and everything was closed, maybe that was for me to memorize landmarks, because coming back from the beach, that's what got us back to our Airbnb. Landmarks. We didn't have our phones. We had to actually use our brains. We actually had to go back to the way that my father would do it, or the way that we used to do it 20 years ago. And when I say 20 years ago, 25 years ago, anytime before year 2000, you would use a map, or you would use a landmark, or you weren't really relying on GPS. And so the beauty of this is sometimes, no, all the time, everything is laid out for you how it's supposed to be laid out for you. Even the phones being taken from me. I didn't lose my head. I didn't yell and say, who did this? I just knew, okay, I got to go to the police station, which I'm so excited about because these men are fine. I'm so excited about. So it seemed easy to get back to the Airbnb, except it was like all one-way streets. And so I drove in the vicinity probably about 2 hours. Because I was like, is it this street? It's not this street. Okay, but I have to go down this street to come back up this street to make a turn down this street. Is it this street? No, it's not this street. Well, I recognize this I recognize this restaurant. Okay, but it's not here. We just had to use our brains, and this is why we started laughing, because not only are we down 3 phones, now we gotta find the place, and we keep missing a turn or going down a street that just led us to having to go back on ourselves. It was incredible. And that's where I'm going to leave you for tonight because, oh, it doesn't stop there. But I'm about, what, an hour and a half in. So I will pick this back up tomorrow, but it gets so much better. And whenever you hear me talk about my travel stories, I don't have stories like these because I've never really been robbed. But I have to say, it's been the best thing. Not to be robbed, but it's been the best thing. It's been the best thing to be without my phone. And here's the other thing, what I didn't add, my MacBook Pro had been a bit off. So I took it to the Genius Bar and I had said, my MacBook Pro is like not charging. It's saying that it's charging, but it's not recognizing the charge. And it's not like booting up. So not only were my two phones taken, at the time, I did not even bring my laptop with me because it wasn't working. So at that point, I had no connectivity to anything via email, via my phone, nothing, nothing. I'm relying on like my brain. I don't remember any passwords. I can't get into an email. Like, this is basically a complete refresh of my life because my phones are gone. Any pictures, content that I was filming there, donezo. It's done. Computer is like basically done. I'm hoping I can extract. And I share that because I saw it as the most beautiful refresh. Because there's no need to say, oh, I wish that wouldn't have happened. I wish I had the info. The information is done. It doesn't even matter. It's done. Start new. Start new from now. And sometimes that's what's needed. Now, it doesn't have to be start new from now because someone stole your phones from the beach, but sometimes it is that time in life to start new from now. Start new. And that's what I will leave with you right now. It feels like a completely different space in everything, in my life, in my body, in my outlook, in my lack of electronics. Um, and I love it because all of the ideas are new. And really, anyone that had contact with me no longer does. And now again, I get to select too, because if I can't extract my information, I don't know whose phone to say. I don't even know if I can get into my iCloud. But what's beautiful is new phone who dis. This is why I started this. I guess it's a series now. New phone who dis. Let it go. Whoever knew me before, who thought they could get in contact with me, not only you can't get in contact with me, who you're getting in contact with is a completely different version. Completely different. And I love it. I've embraced it. So maybe this is your sign to start new. Maybe this is your sign to say, you finished, you cut off. It's all new. It's a new number out here. It's new everything. You don't have to go as far as getting your things stolen. You can choose just to reboot as new, but let it go. And I often say, let it go so you can grow. Let it go so you can grow. But if you don't, sometimes it's just going to be taken in some way. Or at least for me. At least for me, that's what happens. So, Dead Poets Jams, We will pick this up tomorrow again. I have been streaming. I don't know what's happening with this app. I'm always positive, so I'm not even going to speak to that. But follow me on here and follow me on YouTube. Hope is Speaking. YouTube is my YouTube page. I go live on both platforms at the same time. So regardless of what happens, I will be going live on my Hope is Speaking YouTube page, which I'm streaming on now. And I'm not like jumping to any other thing. You can go to my link in bio. It has my YouTube. I'll also be updating my Patreon. You can watch my TED Talk in my link in bio. So the best way to still hear my lives is to subscribe to my Hope is Speaking YouTube, because I go live and I post all of my TikTok lives there. So there's just under 300 pieces of content, whether it's lives, meditations, affirmations, content is on YouTube. So this is where we are. Cliffhanger. What is that? I guess that's a phone. I guess, check this out. Wait a minute. Which one should I use? I love that. Yeah, I guess that's a phone. I've been operating without a phone because that will be in part 3, how I had to piece everything together. Yes, exactly. So we will close the night with a round of applause and cheer. Isn't that so cool? Again, this is a live sound card I bought with some of my purple ticket money from the TikTok shop, which I really like. Maybe I'll do content on it. I don't know. But yeah, to bring the space up and to have the microphone and all of these things elevating. Even when I got, I didn't get got, because I'm Hope. I always prevail. Always. Always. So I close my lives. And it's such a great story. And the greatest part is it keeps getting better. You came in at the best part, Dead Poets Jams. So I'll come on around the same time tomorrow. I'll put it in my stories so people will know. Uh, yeah, it gets so much better. So I close my lives with these 3 things. First, be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love. Next, show up. Show up for your dreams. Show up for the beach. Show up for leaving your phones in the car when you go to the beach, or not, because if you leave them out, you may have a story like me, but that's not a bad thing. It's just a life lesson. But you got to show up. Show up for your workout. I know many people have said, I'm going to lose weight. Do it this time. Actually do it. Just keep showing up. And finally, allow things to go. I always say, what's for me comes with ease and stays. I don't have to fight it. I don't have to hold on to it. I don't have to shift and change. What comes to me with ease and stays. What's not for me isn't for me. And the moment that I accept that and allow that space to be open, that's when something new and more beautiful will occupy that free space. So that is it for this evening. Thank you for all who are watching me on Hope is Speaking YouTube live stream, and subscribe to me there. I will. Oh no, their phone. Yeah, it was like that realization. And the other thing that I felt was like, as soon as it sunk in that we got robbed, I felt from my heart down. It was at the bottom part of my heart. It was like a feeling in my body, like an orb that was like whoop, 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 and went down my body into the sand. And I said to my niece, that's a lower vibration. It's not like high vibration, low. It was like that, oh, I don't feel good about this. And it like reverberated from the bottom of my heart down my thorax, down my thighs, down to my knees, my like is that your femur area to your foot down to the sand, like woo, 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 down through the sand. It was incredible. What's up, Hero? That was that lower vibration when we found out. So, and again, I'll do the face because we both reached into our bags, and once we realized the phones had been taken, we were like, but that's what it is. It's all in the story. So it's a great story. It's a great story. So I will see. You came at the last moment. Yeah, my face was like, they got me. They got me. How could they get? How could? I was thinking, I'm American. You can't rob me. We are the biggest robbers of the world. Like as a joke. American robs the entire world and I got robbed. No way. So yeah, you should laugh. It was hilarious. Three phones, not one, three. Three. That was a come up. Three phones? Three iPhones? That's a come up. So but it's a wonderful story that will be continued tomorrow. So continue to laugh, continue to smile, refresh, just shift out of your life anything that no longer is for you. I love you. I love this new, all of the hair stuff I have, and I will see you tomorrow. So have a great night. Okay? Bye. Bye on YouTube.